nutrients. Now, what is the particle size analysis? So, if we want to analyze the soil sample and this soil separate, so there is the analysis is known as the particle size analysis, or we can say the mechanical analysis. The mineral component constituent the soil mass. We all know that mineral component 45%. This mineral portion consists of the particle of the various size. Okay, according to the size, the soil particles are grouped into gravel, sand, silt, clay, which are termed as a soil separates. So we all know these all are soil separate. We use these different soil separate like the gravel, sand, silt, and clay. So we have to separate out all these particles, and then we can calculate how much amount of that particles is there, and on the basis of that we can say which type of the soil is there. The process of determining the amount of the individual soil separate below 2 mm in diameter is called mechanical analysis. So the mechanical analysis is based on the Stokes law, which is given in 1851, which stated that when soil separate are suspended in water, they tends to sink, and their velocity of settling is proportional to the square of radius of each particles. The Stokes law they stated that when the soil particles are suspended in the soil, so according to that size, according to the radius of these particles, the particles are sink down, okay, or it is settle down. The velocity of the settle down is different from the different particles which having the different size of the particles or the different radius of the particles. So it is depends on the radius of the particles. So that is Stokes law. So here we see the relation between the diameter of the particle in settling velocity. So here this velocity, what is the velocity? What is velocity is centimeter per second. So it is depend on the radius and coefficient of the viscosity. Okay. So rho means the viscosity of water that the soil particle is there. Then the density of water, here the density of water, then the density of the soil particles, and this radius, okay, then acceleration due to the gravity. So all these include, and the Stokes law is stated like that. So by this way we can analyze the mechanical analysis or the particle size distribution. So these are some assumptions given in the Stokes law. The particle must be large in comparison of liquid molecules so that Brownian movement will not affect the fall. So that is one assumption is that particle must be larger in comparison of liquid molecules. That is the first assumption. The second assumption is extent of the liquid must be great in comparison with the size of the particles. Then third, the fall of the particle must not be affected by the proximity of the wall of the vessels or adjacent particles. So we have to use that such instrument or these uh, cylinder, so it not affect the proximity. Particle must be rigid and smooth. So that is another assumption. There must be no slipping between the particle and liquid. So this the liquid is not slippery, and the particle not slipping between the particle and liquid. Okay, and particle greater than silt size fraction of the soil cannot be separated accurately with the help of the Stokes law. So this is another assumption is that particles greater than silt size fraction of the soil cannot separate accurately with the help of the Stokes law. So if the particle is more than the silt size, then this Stokes law is not work properly, because this the heavier particle or the particle which having the higher radius, they are settled down easily. So more than, so the less time is there for the suspended particles like the silt and clay which having the less radius. Mechanical analysis. To conduct the mechanical analysis, a samples of soil is crushed lightly in a wooden mortar. The material is next passed through the sieve is taken for mechanical analysis. The organic matter and other binding material are removed from the soil before the mechanical separation. There are several methods of the mechanical analysis like the sieve method, sedimentation method, decantation method, centrifugal method, pipette method and hydrometer method. So pipette method is usually employed for the carrying out the mechanical analysis. So here mechanical analysis, okay, soil sample and blank. So this hydrometer, okay, this is sieve method, hydrometer, okay. So by we can separate this all the soil separates by the sieve method.